Hi everybody, good morning. Guys, please confirm if my audio is clear, the screen visible, and the screen is not still, it's moving, doing its job. Okay, very fine, guys. So things seem to be in place. Last we were doing the string exercise. Some of you mentioned that I should mail that, so I have mailed those functions which we ran in class. So it is over your mail. Next, one such utility package is dplyr. Perhaps I mentioned that here in the chat box. So you can install this package as well. You know how to go to packages, install, and as you type dplyr, well, maybe auto suggestion will come. I will not install, but you should install. I have already got it installed. Okay. Meanwhile, you people install it. How was your leave? How did you enjoy your day off yesterday? Okay. Fine. Well, got dplyr installed. Everybody can please respond to this. Very fine. So guys, dplyr comes in handy because you see, for one, it uses intuitive function names The syntax is also very intuitive, you will see just in a while. Another thing is that as you have already seen that keywords of SQL and R are very different. So dplyr bridges that gap. Dplyr uses similar uh, keywords, similar functions which are available in SQL. It was created for the people, actually at that time, many people had SQL background and R was a new tool altogether. And having functions different and syntax different and everything different. So that is why dplyr was created so that SQL people get handy with R also. Another reason is, as you have seen in your Bollywood dataset. Okay, I will come to it. I'll show you that. So dplyr functions are majorly the five verbs. These are the five functions which constitute of majority of analysis for data cleaning and data manipulation. Whatever you need, it is here. So attach the package, maybe library, so dplyr will be attached, maybe require, so ggplot2 will be attached. I'm attaching these both the packages and we will see how these functions work from dplyr package. There in the chat box, maybe you can run it by yourself. One more this. Okay, done. Fair. Where is the data set you are seeing? We are checking head, view, and structure of some particular data set. Yes. Where this data appear from? It is built in ggplot2 package. So since we have ggplot2 package attached, I have everything which is available in ggplot2 available. How can you know this? You can check the help function of ggplot2. For now, just stay with me. What is this data talking to you? What is this data talking about? Uh-huh. Okay, right. It is a data set of some stones, precious stones, diamonds, and it is having various parameters. So we have carat of diamonds, the cut quality, color quality, clarity. Actually, if you pay attention, you will see that clarity, how are clarity mentioned, how is color mentioned. You see, what is color of diamond? Diamond cannot be red, blue, pink, no. Eventually, diamond would be, well, something transparent, translucent. So they have, so these are some jewelry coding, so specific to jewelry industry, so that the people know that whether this is yeah, transparent, translucent, and if it is transparent, then how much transparent. So that is clarity, whether it is there is haze in between or it is crystal clear or whatsoever. Well, so again, if you want to know what these variables specifically means, you can check the help of what? Help of this diamonds dataset. You know, we have seen that there is help document for datasets also. Right, so then there are various parameters, depth, table, price, XYZ. There must be something, something, XYZ, perhaps dimensions. Price, well, price is something which is of maximum interest. Yes or no? Shankar, here it is. Here in the chat box. Jyoti, here in the chat box. You can copy paste. We have done nothing. We have just installed a package, dplyr, this one, and we are trying to see what are the functions, why we are so much tilted upon dplyr. So we'll see some functions of dplyr which are either not available in base package, and if they are available, they are not very efficient. We will see just in a bit why. So we have seen this diamond dataset. If I check a structure, the structure of this dataset is, it says it is a table data frame. It contains 53,000 something rows and 10 columns. Carat is numeric. Yes, it should be numeric. Carat is measured in numbers. Yes, it is okay. Then we see cut, color, and clarity. They are given as ordinal factor. Ordinal factor. Remember, there used to be ordinal categorical variable, which is categorical, but it contains orders also. Yes, remember that. Everybody. Okay, very welcome, Shankar and Jyoti. So these are that kind of thing, and they will be that kind of. Think about it. If I am talking about cut quality, so fair, well, good is better than fair. Very good would be better than good, good, and anything. And maybe it is also a good idea to check summary of this. That also we know. Summary is always a good idea. So for carat, okay, seems good. In cut, there are 5 categories: fair, very good, premium, and ideal. And this kind of dataset it is. So let's try to arrange this data according to price, or say carat, I say, or price. Chalo, pick it anything. So don't type in, I will send you. So the syntax would be arrange the dataset name, and we don't use it like comma comma karke. We use it like just we used in ggplot2. One layer is dataset, another layer is argument. I want to arrange this dataset. Which dataset? Diamonds. And comma according to what? According to price. If I do that, and I have stored that as our data frame df. If I check the head of df, you see the small prices all together. Maybe you can view if you want to. What has happened this time? Remember the sort function? If I use sort, it will only sort the price column. It would have only sorted this price column. Now what is happening? Arrange of dplyr, it is sorting entire dataset according to price column. All rows are sorted. Well, this is ascending order. What is descending order? Descending order, just like in SQL, you used descending. Remember, desk. The keyword used to be desk there. So this is the way mentioned for dplyr. Again, same thing. Arrange diamonds according to price, but in descending order of price. Here in the chat box. You may ask me about any practicality of this. Can you think of some practicality of this? Remember your Bollywood dataset? Remember Bollywood dataset? When you were asked to find the top movie, well, very simple. Top movie, which max function, I know that. So no problem. What happened when it came to second highest movie? Remember what happened? Everybody was doing all kinds of circus. Yes or no? Somebody did order, somebody did G sub, somebody's doing something, and okay, finally you could do it. Everybody did it this way or that, but it was. Now pay attention. If I do it with dplyr, let's require dplyr. Arrange Bollywood in descending order of total collection. Sorted. Ask me, what do you want? Ask me the top movie. Ask me top second. Ask me top fifth. Ask me top 10th. Ask me anything. Yes or no? Now the dataset is sorted. I have sorted the entire dataset in order of total collection. You just have to ask me the number. Number 1, number 2, number 5, number 8, number 10, whatsoever. I will just mention the index and be done with it. Simple? Nice? Yes or no? So that's why we are discussing dplyr. Life is a tad bit easy with dplyr. Code from which one? Which code do you want, Jyoti? Arrange function. Here it is. Clinton, is your connection stable? I see you are dropping and joining time and again. Any problem, Clinton? Okay. Okay. Chalo, good. So this was arrange function. Then there is select function. Select function is now what select function does is you may also come across terms. I am mentioning it here. You may see basically this is subsetting. There is a function also subset, but it is not very accurate. I'm saying you may get into these terms. One is called data subsetting, another is called conditional subsetting. Now they don't, mm, they are not very typical to me. Some fool has named them like they are very technical jargons. Actually, they mean very simple thing. So nothing to worry about. Data subsetting happens on columns. It is also called sometimes choice based subsetting. It is conditional or condition based subsetting. What is the difference is it happens on columns. Think about it. Who will decide I need this column or not for my further analysis? Suppose you are doing anything, you are doing something, I am doing something on this data set. Suppose for some reason I know that for my analysis I don't have to do anything with clarity. I have nothing to do with clarity in this analysis. Maybe I am interested in carat, maybe I am interested in price, maybe in dimensions, but nowhere nowhere clarity. Yes or no? This will be decided by the analyst, right? According to his experience, his expertise, his skills, his problem statement, or maybe hers. Data analyst is going to decide these things. So that's why it is called how which column will come. So that is condition based. That is your data subsetting or choice subsetting. I am making my choice. I don't know this. I need that. So that is what select is doing. So remember, select happens on columns. So here, simple syntax. I think you will. Uh, make the meaning out of this. I don't have to go into very much details. Select, I mentioned the data frame, which data set is it is, and well, what select does? It selects some columns. If I index it negative, it means what is negative indexing? Similar. Leave those columns. There, everybody getting it? Nice and neat, no problem. Then there is condition based subsetting. Think about it. Where does your conditions occur? You have seen that already. My condition is I want to see the diamonds with very good quality. Yes or no? We have seen which function already in the base package? Yes or no? We have seen that. So that's where condition based subsetting condition happens on rows or observations. I want only particular observations which satisfy a certain condition. Otherwise, I don't want it. So that's where filter function comes in. Suppose I say I need to see only those diamonds which are costlier than 5,000 units, the 5,000 bucks, whatever unit they are using. So let's check this out here in the chat box. What I'm saying? Yeah, I'm in a jewelry shop, and yes, maybe I want to impress my wife. I don't want cheaper diamonds. Well, not wife, maybe girlfriend. Who impresses wife after 10 years of marriage? Well, got the idea. So I want to filter a data set. What data set? Diamonds, where price is okay. This is certainly for wife. This is less than or less than or equal to 5,000. Wow. So maybe you got the idea. You need some conditional statements. So if I see and let's see the head of this data set now. So it contains only those diamonds which are below 5,000 priced. I think all of them will be like that. Let's check how many there are. So out of 53,000, there are 39,000 some diamonds which are below 5,000. Okay. Now we also know that I can have multiple conditions. Yes or no? I can have several conditions. Maybe I have a condition that I want price to be less than 5,000, but how much less than? It should not go below 3,000 also. Suppose my condition is this. Can you create the code? Can you write the command to run it? What I am saying, the price should not be above 5,000, but it should not be below 3,000 also. So it is kind of and condition. Would you try and tell me? Nikhil, let's stick to filter for now. Let's not go to between. There is between, but I will leave that for you to explore. Almost everything which is available in SQL is available in dplyr, but we will not go to all the aspects for now. Very fine. You got it like that, Abhimanyu, Harika. Very fine. Nice to see. I have begun to doubt Harika and Abhimanyu. You are sitting together, or at least you know each other. You both drop the solution in the same fraction of second as if you are just sitting across the tables, cheating each other. Okay, so you people are getting the hang of it. Here it is. I have copied from one of you. So it is AND condition in subsetting. Filter the dataset diamonds. On what condition? I have two conditions and it is AND case. The condition one is the price should be at least 3,000 and the price should be at most 5,000. So now I am certain that I am looking at a price in one particular category. If I run this, how many diamonds are one such? How many diamonds are such? Such diamonds are 8892. I'm asking you one more question so that we are able to see whether everybody is getting it, and I would expect that I hope everybody can answer that. I would like to see answer from everybody for this. I want to filter diamonds dataset. I want to see only those diamonds. Just assume I'm in your jewelry shop and I'm the customer and I'm making some certain demands. I want to talk to only those diamonds. I want to see only those diamonds where cut quality is premium, where cut quality is premium, or or their price is more than 15,000. Getting the hang? I am one obnoxious customer. I have very certain demand. Either I want to buy a premium diamond or the price should be more than 15,000. I don't want anything cheap. Yes, 15, 1 5. So how can you serve a customer with such peculiar taste? Go ahead, show me. You got the question right, everybody, right? Don't copy paste. Please try it by yourself. No, Abhimanyu. And don't drop me the query. And don't drop me the question. If you want to drop the code, drop it in private chat. This is wrong, Abhimanyu. Get the question right. I want to see the diamonds whose cut is premium, either who their cut is premium or their price is more than 15,000. I see some 22 or 23 or 24 people are here. Okay, Ashu, Diamonds is dataset built in ggplot2 package. So if you attach ggplot2 package, this Diamonds dataset will be available. Okay, good to see, but all good. Manohar, is it working? I don't think it is working.
It's working, sir.
It's working, but answer is wrong. What is the answer? I'm sure it is very different from others. Okay, but it is good to see that most of you have got it right. Let's see. Let's match. Mind you, I am using greater than only. I'm not using greater than equal to. So that may make a difference. So for now, let's see. The question, my question was either cut quality should be premium. I want only quality to be premium, or or the price should be more than 15,000. That was what I was stating. So there are 14,859 diamonds of this kind. So I hope it is matching for most of you. Okay. Uh, Shubhangi, what is the count you are getting? Acha, you have put comma between conditions. If you okay, I'll show you. Check this out, guys. If I mention conditions like this, that diamond dataset condition one, and I don't mention the operator, and by default I write my second condition. So by default it will take it as and. Okay, so whole query has gone for a toss. So something unexpected will happen. So don't do it like that. Follow the syntax. You have a clear condition. Whenever there are multiple conditions, think about it properly, whether it is and case or it is or case, and then put proper operator. Price, it is not filtering more than 15,000. Why not? It is filtering. Of course it is filtering, Rehan. What I have used is, have a look now. I have used or condition. So necessarily I don't want that price should have always price should be more than 15,000. If price is not more than 15,000, it can be that cut is premium. So that is also a condition, no? So either one of two, that is really true. You see, these are cheap diamonds, but at least their cut quality is premium. That was my condition. Okay. Then there is something which you saw in SQL also, group by. Group by and see the summary of something. What used to happen in SQL? Suppose I say there are several diamonds in this diamond data set, and there are cut quality. Okay. Something similar happened in SQL. Remember, if I group by with cut to see some summarized number, a summary which is essentially number. So that's where group by and summarize utility come in. So I am grouping this data. I want to group this data according to categories of cut column, but here it will happen in two stages. So even that is better. That is better because you will see that you can control certain things. Here I am saying group by this diamonds data set according to cut column and save it as a variable group by cut. So the whole data set will be grouped by the categories in cut column. Let's see. Now there is a new variable where the data is grouped by categories of cut column. Is it so? I don't see any grouping. Well, you will not see any grouping. Grouping has been done. Grouping is there. It will not be visible. Okay, so there is internal grouping in this data set. It will look very similar, all the way similar to that original data set, but there is grouping internally, which is not in parent data set. In the next step, I say now summarize. Summarize is simple, just like summary of that you see in the base package, the summary. Now I'm saying summarize this data set. Which data set? The group by cut, where internally there is grouping. And the summary I want to see is, say, average price. Jyoti, Monarch, you will realize, just give me 1 second. Here in the chat box, Yeah, sure. No problem, Abhimanyu. Just take that. Let's see it for once again. Diamonds is the parent data set. It has no grouping, nothing. It is just rows and columns. I have applied group by function on this data set. I am saying that group by this data according to the categories in cut column. Cut column has certain categories. We saw that. It has categories like fair, good, premium, ideal, various kinds of cut diamonds can have. So I am saying group by this data according to the categories of this column. Remember, grouping is grouping. That is very much obvious already. Grouping can only be done on categories. Yes or no? I can group by my people according to their age groups, according to their designation, according to their department. If I am to group by these diamonds, I can group by them according to their cut quality, their clarity quality, that kind of thing. So group by is always on categorical call. I have saved that as a new variable called group by cut. I am calling it. Why do I need a new variable? Because I am not visualizing, I am not able to see any kind of grouping, but it has been there. It is there now. Okay. In this variable, if I view this variable, it will look all the same, just like the original dataset. But there is grouping behind the screen. Now, when I want to see the summary, what do we see in the summary? What do we see in the summary? Remember, summary is always for numerical variable. When I am seeing yes or no, when you want to see something analysis, it is always about numbers. So this is essentially a continuous variable. Yes, on continuous variable, there may be some mathematical function. You may see total, mean, median, max, min, count, many things, right? So essentially a number. Whenever it comes to summary, it is always a number. So I am saying summarize group by this group by cut variable. I want to summary. I want to see the summary of mean price. So let's see. Let's see. Stay with me. Stay with me. हाँ जो दे देखते हैं अभी उसको भी. If I see that, it is not giving numbers, Jyoti. It is giving you mean of price in each category. That if I see diamonds of fair quality, their on and average price is this much. If I see good quality diamonds, their price is this much and this much and this much and this much. That kind of thing. It is not number of diamonds. It is not total of price. It is average of price. ठीक है. अरे हाँ हाँ लड़के ही हम सारे काम कर सकते हैं. Stay with me now. Give me some time. No, keep patience with me. Just a few minutes. You people get impatient. You know, excited enough to as soon as you learn new thing, you are excited to jump on to the next. Okay, so this is now. So far, any problem with anyone? Muzammil, you are not getting the DF. You are not getting this DF1. I am dropping in the chat box again. Muzammil, please run it and see what was the difference. Something went wrong. It's showing the same. You mean this is error or warning something coming in, Mudamil? Mudamil, have you? Okay, you have run plier package. Is it so? Do you have plier package there? Detach it. Detach plier package. I was expecting that. See, dplyr is just one step ahead of dplyr function, but if you have both the packages there, their commands and syntax contradict. Okay, so how do you detach it, Muzamil? Go to either use detach function or maybe just scroll here on the packages. You will find out on this. You see that dplyr is checked here. Similarly, there would be plier. So uncheck plier and use dplyr only. Maybe you will have to restart RStudio, but it will do just fine after that. Okay, so that's one. Ashutosh, summarize. Okay, very fine. Ashutosh, no problem. Nikhil, group by, we will use summarize. Okay, okay, I think it will make sense. Just have a look here. Suppose I don't use group by. If I am not grouping by, I am using summarize directly on diamonds function. I want to see mean price. You see, it is as good as I have run mean function on price column. Without grouping by, summarize is not doing anything particular. It is just telling me the mean price of all the diamonds. Well, for that I don't need summarize. No, that is not the utility actually. I could have simply gone to mean function. Same answer. So summarize alone is not doing the any efficient thing. Summarize becomes useful when there is grouping. Okay, Nikhil. So it is not that it will not work. It will work, but it is not doing anything much useful. Well, Ashu, you got this. So I had grouped by cut. Now somebody asked me, show me the mean price of diamonds in each category. Okay, let's see. So not diamonds, I am choosing the data frame which is internally grouped by cut. And when I do that, now something useful happens. I see the mean price in each category of cut quality. Nice. You may ask me, tell me the total price of diamonds in each category. Somebody may ask me that, yes or no? Now somebody is asking me not the average price. They want to see the total price of diamonds in each category. Okay, how much cost is of the diamonds which are of good category, good cut in my inventory? Some simple. Got this? So I can see the total also. Now comes the good part. Yes, you can use any aggregate function. Not any aggregate function. You can use even any number of aggregate function. That is the real power of dplyr. That is the real utility. If you ask me, show me the total price also and show me the mean price also. Go ahead. In the same line, I can mention though both the things. So I am creating a DS. I want to see summarize, and I want to summarize this group by cut. I want to see two summaries. I want to see total also, and I want to see mean also. Let's see this DS. Here you are. Try it yourself. Can you create both the summaries, two summaries by one function, a single command? Are you able to do that? Give it a try. Okay, others, while you try, Muzamil, I'm making you presenter, Muzammil. Let's see your screen. What's happening exactly? Muzammil, you are presenter now.
So can you see my screen, sir?
Not yet, Muzammil.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
No, sir. Now can you see, sir?
Yes, now it is there.
Okay, so I go with this. It shows the proper thing, and then it shows summarize the ungrouping output. Here, dplyr is selected in the packages, libraries, ggplot.
Hmm. A ggplot. In this list, somewhere can you find plier? There is plier, Muzammil.
No, sir. There's no in the library, sir. Dplyr is there.
Dplyr is certainly there, but is there in this list? Is there a plier package?
No, sir. No, there's no player, sir.
Scroll further. Let's see. Go to the base library. Okay, scroll further. Scroll further. Okay.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
There's no player, sir, in the list.
Okay, do one thing. Let me see. Click on this df1. I think the data frame is created. You have done this df1. You are creating group by mean price. Type there.
It's here.
Do it this way. I am dropping in the chat box. Can you do it this way? I don't think it will make any difference because it is not making any error. So I think it will just work fine. Run it, which I have dropped in the chat box. And yes, it is creating.
It is critical. So that time it opened a new page telling
Okay.
some mean
Yes,
something
no
like that.
problem.
So I thought it's an error.
No problem, no problem.
Huh?
Earlier it must have thrown error, but now it is just giving you a text, so it is not an error. So code is working just fine. So no problem.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, very welcome.
All right.
Others? Getting it all set. Okay, very fine. So min, max, this and that, everything is working. Can you try to count the number of diamonds? Can you think of a way that can you count also? We have seen other aggregate functions. Mean and sum you have already tried. There could be median, there could be min, max, and many things. So that you have already tried. One thing in particular I want you to try, that's count. Can you do that? Give it a try. Yes, Rehan, count of number of diamonds. Not working? Realize that? You try to run it. I want to create a df count. I want to summarize group by cut on count of say price. It throws me an error. So you may try anything else also if you wish. Whatever you try, it doesn't work. Yes, it is because the keyword is different. So count is not done by count function. So there is especially a function n for summarize, which gives the summary of count. Now if I count df count, okay, very fine. Muzammil, somehow you have transferred this command to my screen. Wow, this is telepathy going on. Now I am also facing the same error. And no, it is not error, it is just suggestion kind of thing. Okay, but I got the df count and now it is showing me the number of diamonds in each category. Okay, so that's good. One more thing which comes in handy is, remember alias, this column name. This column name doesn't look nice. This is okay. I can see the cut quality. That is fair. But this n bracket not looking nice. So there is a way in dplyr to give alias. Within the summarize function, I'm declaring the alias should be diamonds, and it should the assign value which should be assigned onto this alias is n bracket. There is the chat box. And was not working with sum. What do you mean, Jyoti? Could you share the screen? Your presenter, Jyoti. If you share the screen, maybe I would be able to figure it out. What were you trying and what didn't work? Acha, working now. Okay. Good enough. Okay, everybody, everything fit and fine. Okay. No, you don't need to mention anything here in bracket. N is the function which means count, and it works particularly for summarize function. One more thing to notice is, if you type summarize, there would be two summarize functions you will see. One would be this spelling, another would be this spelling. Do you see that in auto suggestion? So you don't have to worry about it because both the summarize function mean the same. It is just that British have a different spelling and US people have a different spelling for summarize. So it doesn't matter. So whichever accent you follow, go ahead, keep following. Use the spelling, whichever you like. Both functions work the same. Now let me show you something for which we come to dplyr. We have seen how do we find out duplicates. Can you find out how many duplicate rows are there in this data set? How will you do that? I just want to find out the number of duplicate values, duplicate rows in this diamonds data set. Yes, there can be anomaly. Go ahead. No, I don't want the function name Manohar. I want the complete code. How will you write it? That I see the number of duplicated rows eventually. Okay, most of you are getting it, right? Duplicated on basis of price. Ah, no, Jyoti, duplicated. I'm talking about records. I'm not talking about. See, if two diamonds have same price, it does not mean they are duplicate entries. If everything is getting duplicate, if everything is same for two rows, then I should become suspicious that something wrong is happening. So that is how duplicated function works. I discussed this. So I want to see duplicated function if all the entries of one row are matching with some other row, and if I see that there are 146 rows which are duplicate. How do I remove them? How can I remove them? Now comes the next part. I would like to remove these duplicate entries from this data set. Now pay attention. Maybe I can do, I want to create a data frame df1 in which will not contain the duplicate rows. So how should I do it with the base function? Maybe I can do something. Just pay attention. I am saying what diamonds data set, the square bracket means which rows. I only want certain rows where a condition is true. And what is the condition? That duplicated diamonds. Think about it. If I have to fetch those rows which are duplicate of something, I will write this kind of thing. So this will bring only those rows which have been duplicate in diamond dataset. Yes or no? Yes or no? This will going to give me true and false. This duplicated function, whether a row is false, duplicate or not. I am saying where this condition is true, bring those rows only. Now my intention was not to bring those rows, my intention was to drop these rows. Minus what I am saying, find out those rows which are duplicate and then leave them, leave these rows, select everything else. I don't only want these duplicate rows, everything else is okay. Take that away to df1. Seems like a good logic. Seems like a good logic. You are getting this? So I already know there should be a difference of 146 rows. If I check and row of diamond. Okay. So let's create df1. Just pay attention. Don't type in. Don't type in. Stay with me. I will drop the code. Well, it took. If pay attention to this. Yeah, here you will see a red light, a red bulb going on, which is indicator that something is in execution for this long. A command is in execution. See that? It is barely for not even 1 second. It is just like a blink, but it is there. So this is execution. It shows how much time this command is taking. So you will see this bulb when there will be big data sets and you will see the complex algorithms. However, okay, so we have a data frame df1 and let's check this out. If I check number of rows of difference, well, it is exactly 146. But can I do something better? Let's say I'm creating a df2 doing the same thing, but this time with dplyr, and in dplyr I have a distinct function. What I am saying? I am saying distinct from diamonds. What do I mean? Only the distinct rows of diamonds, bring them to df2. I don't want it. Whatever is duplicate, I don't need it. So for one, you see what was the logic here and what is the logic here. You see the logic here. It is okay, not very complex, but at least it is verbose. Yes or no? For a newbie, it will confuse. Definitely, it will confuse. Maybe it has already confused a few of you. I want diamonds, then I want duplicated, then I want those rows where it is duplicated, then I want to drop those rows where it is duplicated, and then square bracket and this and that. Let's see this. Smooth like rivers. I just want distinct rows from diamonds dataset and I am done. Second thing, pay attention to the execution. It is it is not taking even a fraction of a second. Yes or no? Realize that. So this is a data set of 50,000 rows and we are operating upon, and we just have to remove 146 values. So we realize that there is difference when there are huge data sets with millions of records and several columns. This uh, this time difference becomes very much evident, very much considerable, and that's when you realize that yes, dplyr is way more efficient than base package functions. Okay, so that is another reason to work with dplyr, because it saves me cost in form of time. Is there any difference in result? Well, not actually. There in the chat box. Okay, Nitin, are you here? Nitin? Okay, I see you are here. Nitin, could you please ping me on the personal WhatsApp chat so that I will take that forward. I saw your mail just now, and okay, I'll connect with you in that regard. No problem. No problem. Take care. Stay strong. Yes, Rehan, we used in SQL also. SQL also has distinct function. That's what dplyr is. Whatever is in SQL, well, more or less everything you will get in dplyr. Done with this, everybody? Simple. Does it sound good? All set? Seems okay? Okay. Okay. So again, there is a long weekend ahead. So to keep you into the loop, again, I would expect submission over this. So this is your another project. I'm sending across a case study to you people. Fair. Now really the serious business begins. I have sent you a mail. I'll show you what it contains. It would contain 5 attachments. Attachment, we'll see it one by one. I'll explain it to you. So pay attention to my screen. You can download it that later. You will have these 5 attachments, which I am briefing about here right now. So it is a project brief. It is the problem statement actually, what your problem is, and this is the way things will happen henceforth. You will have a problem statement, you will have a data set, and you will have to analyze that data set for these particular problems. What your problem statement says, that you have a client, a company, that is Spark Funds Asset Management Company. What is the problem they are facing? They want to make investments in some startups, newly started company. They want to be a stakeholder there. And the CEO of a Spark Fund, they have certain query. She has certain qualms, and they are talking to you in capacity of an analyst. First of all, they have a few constraints. What are the constraints? Pretty much evident that whichever investment they choose, they will invest $5 to $15 million per round. So the average funding per round which they will do is $5 to $15 million, nor more, not more, not less. You're getting the idea. There is an investor who wants to invest in some startup. Why would somebody do that? Why to invest in some startup? You want to get have some wild guess regarding that? Somebody? Low cost to earn profit in future, less investment. Yes, actually. Now just imagine, had you invested some $100 in Facebook when it was just an idea, and you bought some, say, 1% stake of Facebook at that time. What would be the value of that 1% stake today? You are a billionaire. No, you are not. You would have been. So that is the idea of a startup funding. Yes, a startup which shows promise, and in future, yes, it may grow huge, and that would be the time to reap benefit, to be the stakeholder there. So that's why people invest. Good, those who have high liquidity, such companies can invest in some startups. So that's what their idea is. They want to invest in startups, but they have condition. They have the condition, very practical condition. They want to invest 5 to 15 million USD per round of funding. Not more than that, not less than that. Why not more than that? Well, very practical constraint. Maybe they cannot afford it. Yes or no? They cannot afford it beyond a budget. Why not less than that? Well, maybe it will not be fruitful if we don't invest a certain amount. Yes or no? Investing 100 rupees in Facebook, investing 500 rupees or 1000 rupees in a stake of HDFC, and, it is useless, worthless, doesn't matter. So that is one very practical constraint. Another constraint, they say they want to invest only in English speaking countries. Why? Well, again, very practical constraint. If they are a company of US or maybe UK, and they invest in a country where English is not spoken, yes, very practical thing they are talking about. On the very first day, they will have communication problem uh, uh, with their child company, with the startup they have funded in. Yes or no? So communication is very, very important. So they seem to be very practical people. So, well, they have given you a hint that for your analysis, you can consider a country to be English speaking if English is one of the official languages of that country. So that's fine. So you have that list also. There is list in your data set. Whatever files I have sent you, there is a list of countries. So you will establish those countries only that they are English speaking. So there are two constraints, okay, both of them we have mentioned. Let's talk about it further. Once these two constraints are met, what is their strategy? Their strategy is we will invest where others are investing. Getting the idea? We don't want any adventures. We don't want to experiment. No, heavy braining, no, not analyzing unnecessarily. If these constraints are met, just see where others are investing. Where other investors are going, we will also go there. Getting the idea? So this is a no-brainer for them. They don't want to experiment at all. They have just a few conditions. This data is taken from Crunchbase.com. You guys heard of Crunchbase? Do you know? Anybody? Heard of it? No? No? Well, today journey begins. Crunchbase.com is a website, a web platform which keeps the track of the data set of startup funding. Which startup was funded, when it was funded, who was the investor, what was the amount of funding if available. So as much data which is publicly available is posted on crunchbase.com. Okay, so yes, it is kind of a database for startups and investors. Why it is mentioned here is, it is mentioned here to re-establish that this data set is a real-time data set, a very real-life data set. Problem statement, well, that is cooked up, but data set is real. When data set is real, you can be sure that all the data anomalies which we discussed are present here in this way or that. Okay. So this is your first taste of coming across a real life data set. There are two files, data set. Now you don't need to read everything in R. What you will need to read in R is these two data sets. Okay. By now I think you have checked what are the files which I have sent you across. Has everyone checked that? Have you received, everyone? Please ping me quickly. Check it for once. If you have not received, tell me immediately. Nobody has received. Well, okay, it is actually it has way too many attachments, so maybe it will take some time. Kavya Prakash, mail ID I have not skipped. I have almost. Harika, yes, your mail ID is also here. Shankar, your mail ID. So mail ID are there. You will receive maybe in a while. You will receive. Maybe check spam. Sometimes it happens that Google spams it. Google spams such kind of mails which have huge heavy attachments. So might be possible. So please check spam also. Okay. So now What do they want you to do is, they want to create your business objective. The goal of your analysis is find the best investment type. It's there. And what is the best country to invest for your client? Those who have not received, please check spam for once. It may be spammed. Okay, so this is the goal of data analysis. You have to find the best investment type, and you have to find the best countries where this company should invest in startups. So that is your analysis. What your submission will comprise is, your code should be in one R file. Name your R file by your name, and that's imperative, guys. That's becomes very nuisance for me, because everybody of you will name it a Spark Fund, and I don't know which is which. I don't have that much time to check who sent what. So name your R file by your first name underscore last name, that kind of thing, so that I know who sent what. Okay. In that R file, after that R file, you will have also to create some visualizations. You will put a PPT within 5 slides, not more than 5 slides, to show what you found out. Remember, CEO of Spark Funds, she does not know coding and she does not have time either. If you have done something, well, she got 5 minutes for you. Create a PPT to explain that. I'll explain other things also. Coming on to it. Stay with me. So this was the problem statement. Yes, in our not PPT, you will create plots and you will export those plots and create PPT then. But plots should be created in R. You can create graphs and export them. No, there is facility to export that. Don't worry, read the problem statement carefully, go through the data set carefully. But before I leave for today, how does it feel listening to the project? What is the first feeling? Excited and nervous and curious and tense, stressed out? Mm-hmm. Okay. A little boring. Wow, you seem to be very much confident, Shankar. Well, we will see. Okay. To provide you some initial guidance. Again, this is very first time you are dealing with. Among the attachments, there is a checkpoints file. This is the checkpoints file. Problem is, I know that it may seem overwhelming in the very first time. So you will not even figure it out where to start and where to end. So to help you there is this checkpoints given. So there are table 1, table 2, table 3. You start off with table 1, question number 1, and you start to answer these questions one by one. Okay? So when you keep answering these questions one by one and move to further table 2 and table 3, automatically your analysis will proceed in the right direction. Okay, so these questions are designed to put you onto track. That's one. Second, it's high time to introduce you to Stack Overflow. Heard of this? Anybody heard of this platform? Yes, yes, no, 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 yes, 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 yes. Okay. You guys have heard of Quora? You have heard of Quora? Quora. Ah, that everybody has heard of. Okay. Okay, good. So this is the platform, Stack Overflow. We lovingly call it SOF. So this is your Quora for coders. Like on Quora, you can ask any nonsense question and somebody will answer that. Well, it is not designed for that. There are very strict and very good moderators here. You have to answer, you have to ask the proper question. You have to ask the proper question, like if I say, distinct identifier, so most probably there would be already a question here. Somebody must have asked a question here and you may get it. Even if there is no question here, you can ask your question altogether by this tab. You can ask a unique question also. 99.9% of times you will find whatever question you have, somebody has asked it already. And there are very good moderators. Even if you ask a new question, somebody will answer that within an hour or two. Seems good? So if you have a function and you don't know what this function does, you can go to help document. If you don't even know the function altogether, let's find out at the Stack Overflow. And then maybe you can utilize it. Other than that, you have already checkpoints, a guideline to follow. Okay, stress going down a little bit? Yes, yes or no? The anxiety settling down? Not yet. Okay, okay, to help you, okay, let's help you one further step, which is not happening so far. I was expecting that it would happen by itself, but it is not happening. Your WhatsApp group, it should become a discussion forum, guys. It is not to drop schedule and get to know when you are going to have a day off. It is there to discuss things. So well, now for now, there were not you were not doing very you know very fancy coding. It was just basics, so that can be understood. But now is the time that it should become a discussion forum. Don't copy paste your codes altogether. But if you have a problem, you can mention that I'm not finding, I intend to do this. I'm not finding a proper function. So somebody should help you out. So start becoming handholders for each other. Okay, the way you ping me on personal chat or group, or you drop me a mail, start doing that with each other. You know, peers are the best teachers. I hope those who have been into hostel, they will agree to me. I was a hostler almost entire my student life. So I know that very well. Those who have been into hostel, they will know. Nobody goes to class in hostels. Colleagues are teaching colleagues, seniors are teaching juniors, and this way or that way, and everything is going like clockwork. Okay, so let's replicate that here. Okay, guys. And if nothing works, well, I will not solve your problem, but I will guide. I'll point you in the right direction. But if nothing works, then I am there. I am also there. Okay, guys. So with that, I close today's session. I turn off recording. But for any questions, very welcome. Still on. If no further question, you're free to leave. Bye bye and take care and have a happy weekend and all the best for your submissions. Bye.